Now, I'm only going to do this, so that certain man aren't going to be disappointed. But, the reason why the laugh is muted today is because we have to keep things real, you guys. Yes, a 4-0 win today, but this was effectively a training game versus Morecambe today. But my thinking is, if this game was played behind closed doors, would Frank Lampard be impressed by what you saw today? And for me, you guys, I think that is an overwhelming yes. I think this game really was a good one because the focus should be on the manner in which we won the game today. Forget the opposition. See this as a training game, but if you were witnessing this game behind closed doors in training, there's a few certain things you're hoping to see. You're hoping to see Hudson-Odoi doing bits in the game. You want to see him getting a goal and assist, and we got that today. You'd probably want to see Werner getting a goal today, which we did get. You'd probably want to see Kai Havertz involved as well with a goal and an assist. We saw Mason Mount with a goal outside the box. We saw a Hakim Ziyech assist. And Azpilicueta even got his assist game up as well. So honestly, you guys, for me, this was a very, very good game. So many interesting discussions to have. So many interesting observations in regards to the tactical nature of this team. How we can improve. Some of the things that we have been struggling with. And why I feel that now that we've got past this terrible December, I think that we are going to get better. And the reason for that is that now we finally have a full strength team. So you guys, let's go. I'm about to break this game down for you guys. And if you like today's video, you know what to do. Smash that like button without wasting no more time. Let's start with things. And I think the first thing to tackle was the lineup. Now, I was stressing in my preview yesterday that keep an open mind that there's going to be a strong major possibility that Lampard was going to use this game today to, improve the tactical understanding of the team. During this entire December, we've had players that have had their fitness, varying throughout the month. We've had players that have been out with injuries too. Since we've signed all our new signings, I know the press love to throw out the 200 million we've spent, but how often have we seen this 200 million play altogether? It hasn't been that much. So considering just how difficult times have been, games like this cannot be wasted. Now, of course, the fan in me, because, I know a lot of you guys who watch me, you watch the game as a fan, and then after the game's over, you want to analyze and find out the details behind the game. As a fan, of course, I wanted to see Judson Sobel. I wanted to see Andrew start. I wanted to see Lewis Bate play, because I think this guy's an absolute baller. Liv Romanto down the right-hand side. Of course, they're easily good enough to play, but I think this game was about the bigger picture. And honestly, with the pressure that Lampard is under and the pressure he's putting on himself to get the tactics on point, get these players firing and get the #1 system absolutely firing on point, that's going to take some time. So I understand why the youth couldn't play today. Disappointing, but in the long term, I think games like this will prove to be very beneficial. Now, throughout the review, I'm going to break down the details and observations I made from this game. One of the first ones was the midfield. Now, seeing Gilmour, Mount and Kai playing together, I think this is going to paint a strong indication that we are going to see the same midfield three against Fulham in the Premier League. And to be honest with you guys, I'm excited. The thing with this midfield three is the tempo in which these guys play with. And, as I've stressed for a while, this team, for the tempo to be fast and quick, we need Kai, Ziyech and Mason all playing together. I think one player I want to talk about is Billy Gilmour. I think, of course, if he never picked up that injury versus Leicester City in the second half of last season, this kid's playing a lot more games. He's got a lot more minutes under his belt, because when he plays as that understudy to Kante, we can keep the same energy. We can keep that same momentum. And that's because Gilmour plays with tempo. He plays between the lines. He moves the ball quickly, sharp, accurate, plays the ball with pace. And for a team like us, that's all about, finding the moments in which to just, pick teams off. You need players at the base who can kickstart these moves and make things happen. So the base midfield is very important. And then it's the other two guys alongside that midfielder that really completes how the midfield should play. Mason Mount, I think it's quite obvious now after seeing so many games this season in a 4-3-3, is more the creator type that doesn't get inside the box. With Kai Havertz, however, Kai Havertz is that midfield player that has to get inside the box. He's the one that attacks. He's not there for his creativity, but of course, Kai can do everything. So of course, he's got that in his locker. But I do want to tell you guys, later next week, I'm going to do a massive video breaking down Kai Havertz, is going to be titled Kai Havertz, the German Ghost, because I really feel like that really highlights what Lampard is trying to do with him. I feel like I've read a lot of misconceptions from the press, like The Athletic, content creators to, so many who are misunderstanding what Lampard is trying to do with Kai. And all I can say is that in the midfield three, playing in that role, Kai has the free role, so he has the license to arrive inside the box whenever he wants. He has the license to help create those overloads in the wide areas. Sometimes linking with ZX, sometimes moving in field, sometimes moving into the box. And one misconception that I keep reading is Kai playing deeper. That's not necessarily the case, you guys, because there's a difference between playing deeper, being involved in the game and helping the build-up, and there's a difference between having your starting position deep and then, of course, with the license that he has to roam where he wants. Long story short, all I can say is that Havertz is playing that withdrawn midfield role, and I do think eventually this is going to be a masterstroke that people are going to understand more once Kai gets back to full speed, because yes, even though he was involved heavily, he set up Werner, he got a goal as well with a header, which he's very good at. Kai's always been a guy that attacks inside the box, so this system doesn't necessarily stop that whatsoever. It's more about finding a unique way in the Premier League to get the best out of his game in a way that benefits and balances the team too. He'll get some criticism. He could have got more goals today. He's still got that rustiness, sometimes with his first touch in his turn, but I think with more time and adapting to the tempo, he will overcome this. Now, of course, you guys, so many positives to mention, and we have to talk about Callum Hudson-Odoi. I'm looking at this kid, I'm looking at that third goal he scored, and I was reading some criticism online before, people complaining that Lampard was trying to destroy Hudson's game, about how Hudson shouldn't be making runs inside the box, which kind of baffled me, because if you watch this guy playing the academy, that's what he was kind of doing already. So it's good that Lampard is trying to create a complete Hudson-Odoi, not just a good Hudson-Odoi. We want a complete one. And I think this game today highlighted the genius that we have in this kid. Wow, the way he just passes the ball, number one. His intelligence, how he can link between the lines, the amount of tricks he has up his sleeve. He can make runs on the outside, runs in the inside. He can actually go on and on and on. And if I do, this is going to be a very long video. But I think we all knew that Callum was going to score today. And the reason why, for me, I just definitely knew is because I've been seeing the improvements in his game to be more effective in burying these chances. And really, that's the responsibility that young players that play for a top team need to learn and develop in their game. Seeing that link up with Mason Mount was reminding me of the academy days. Seeing Hudson-Odoi link up with Kai Havertz too. It's not the first time he's seen it this season, and when I see him play, everything about him is on point. He is fully back right now, you guys, and for me, I really do feel like he is going to be playing against Fulham, seeing what he brings to the team down the left-hand side, and then as the game went on, playing as a winger down the right-hand side too. The only other player that I can remember on the top of my head right now is Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona, who can kind of do the same thing as Callum Hudson-Odoi. They're in that same style and that same vein, and honestly, just seeing Callum absolutely firing and playing with confidence, it's very exciting to see, you guys. Of course, there were some small negatives, and this is why I'm stressing that this game was more like a training game, because again, we fall trap and victim to these periods where we do nothing with possession. We play and move the ball very slow, and I think certain times I saw that maybe was with our inverted fullbacks today. Emerson and Aspie played a completely different way to how Reece James and Ben Chilwell play in the wide areas. Normally they play wide and then Ziyech and Hudson will move infield. This time was a bit different, and this is what Lampard always does. He adapts to the players he has at the time. But I do feel like to get to that next level, we need to improve our tempo in games and just learn to kill off teams quickly. And another thing we have to improve on is our composure in finishing chances, because this was a 4-0 win, but honestly, this should have been maybe 6 or 7 with some incredible opportunities that we did not take in this game. This is where responsibility for me falls down to the players, but because I know these guys are young and, all the circumstances, context, they will overcome this, they will get better. And this is why I'm so excited about the future. This is why I'm excited about this system in particular. This game today, Lampard really highlighted some of the things he wants to do. We saw how Giroud came on, Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi, you know, two wingers, target man up front, just like Robin and Duff with Drogba back in the days. And as the game went on, we saw Tammy and Giroud playing up front together in a 4-4-2. And for me, I was getting the vibes that, okay, certain games in the Prem or other, you know, tougher games, if we need to get a goal back in the game, I'm assuming maybe based on this game that we could be seeing more of a 4-4-2. So seeing this game from like a training ground perspective, for me made it so fascinating because so much insight was revealed in this win today. Of course, the real test is soon to come in the Premier League versus Fulham, but I think right now, after seeing how we played today and, you know, after seeing encouraging signs about the fitness of the team right now, I do feel optimistic about our chances versus Fulham. And you guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. Thank you for watching. I might have a live stream out later today, so I'm going to post it on Twitter and on my community page too. So you guys do stay tuned. I'm in EFC. This is Blue Lines TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.